Yeah, the mountain biking thing was weird, like where that came from. I think I just saw a random video on YouTube once, and I was like, by this Aussie guy called Sam Hill, and who's a freak.
Hmm.
If you're gonna watch any sort of downhill mountain biking stuff, type in Sam Hill best of, and it's just insane.
Yep.
Um, and so yeah, that just sort of just spawned. I think I started racing in that when I was 19, and I just got my license, so it was awesome. So I was sleeping in the back of my Camry wagon, and all up in the high country every
Yeah,
weekend, which was
that's mad.
sick.
Yep.
Um,
Again, it's a community vibe though, hey?
yeah,
Who you go with and all of that.
I think any community that has a level of risk is fun because instantly you can talk to someone. So when
Yeah.
using jiu-jitsu as an example, that's fantastic. Like you have someone's ass in your face, sweating, and they fart on you. It's like we're best friends now.
Yeah.
When the same goes with mountain biking because it's so fucking hectic.
Yeah.
At the bottom of a run,
Bit of respect
yeah,
straight away.
so straight away, like how'd you hit this? Like what that? The other sport that I did, I just did for fun for a little bit, and is, for any single guys out there want to like, get good at talking to women, do bouldering.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
The amount of conversations I had in one like session, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because like instantly, like, whoa, you see someone do something, a puzzle or whatever, and you're like, where'd you start and foot placement, and I was like, damn, this shit's like amazing for a community, and I can see why people do it.
Yeah, I used to find that I did a lot of BMX riding all through high school, and it was the same. It was just like the older guys always took care of the younger kids, and it was no one. There was no like. There was an unspoken hierarchy. There was a handful of dudes that like if they walked up to the side of the bowl, you get the fuck out the way. But it was never implied. It was never like told. It was just it was more out of respect than it was out of demand. And then it's like, how did you do that? Like, we used to have we called them the dippers, and there was like there were certain jumps that were like once you've done this, you have a certain level of respect, and then when
shake
you do
one finger,
it's like then when you do this one, like that's another, and that's another, and that. So it was like a known kind of tradition that like that was, and I don't know how long that had been running before I was there, but it was a really cool, similar thing. It's like, oh, you've done the gravedigger, like you can ride.
I feel like that's missing in a lot of community stuff now. It's like here you can have access to everything all of a sudden. It's like, I don't know. Like, how does that sort of service the people that have been doing it for longer than you?
Yeah.
And also that's why I love jiu-jitsu when I was doing it, is that it is this rank thing, and you have to wait for a high belt to invite you in to roll with them, and it's this whole thing of like, whoa, the fucking black belt invites me over, and it's really, really cool like that. And
do you think powerlifting has it?
I think it would be at a certain gyms for sure.
Yeah.
Which I would do for 100%.
My experience of powerlifting has been that.
Yeah.
Is like you kind of pay homage to the OGs naturally.
Yep.
And then the strong. Yeah, I've never seen really strong people be that successful when they want to tell everyone else that they're stronger than them.
I don't think they need to.
Yeah. I went set for set with Krusner one day, and I think we were literally taking like 120 kilos off the bar, man. And he was like just as excited for my top set as his, and I was like, "This is sick."
Well, that's the best thing about it. I keep saying this to everyone who's nervous for our lift off. It's like, don't think about it from a sense of the weight that you're going to be lifting.
Yeah.
More so, just enjoy the fact that you're around people that are all doing the same thing and want the best out of you. That is fucking rare.
Yeah. Yeah. That's this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday.
That's sick. The last grounded one we did. One of my clients in it, and she's like, after I think her second squat, she's like, someone said my name, I don't even know who they are. Like, cheered for her in her squat. It's like, I don't even know who it is. Like, welcome.
Yeah, it's so good I think it's so good for people because you can get so easily lost in day to day, and no one knows what you do, and you feel like, oh, no one else wants to do this, and then you find that click, and it just makes such a huge difference.
It's that same thing, right? There's that knowing. The understanding of respect of like, I see what you're doing over there.
Yeah.
I know that's hard.
Yeah. Which is, I think bodybuilding does have that a little bit, but it's just more visual than like an actual performance-based thing. I think you can obviously get it with like an insane set. Like,
I think there's subgroups in bodybuilding that have it, but I also think there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, as much as you want to admit it or not, it attracts that like narcissistic personality.
Absolutely.
So there's, layer that in with then you being compared standing side by side based on your appearance and a few other bits and pieces, and you get a little bit like, yeah, I can see why this can be a bit of a toxic environment.
Yeah.
But then you can hang out with some people. Like, I mean, chatting to Matt a bit, he's like, oh man, your front double bi looks great. I'm like,
yeah, because the great thing with Matt is he's pushed the boundaries of like how far he can take it with competing. So he's gone overseas. He's gone up against the best, which humbles you, because if you're willing to put yourself up against people that potentially you're just going to get absolutely smoked by, purely just to go, okay, I need to get bigger here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're going to be humble with everyone.
Yeah.
I think again, like I've been humming onto this. That's the whole thing of big fish in a small pond. Like you see these giant guys in the gym, just in the gym.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They go in there, they pump up, they look amazing in the gym, but it's like, where have they taken that, and where have they, spread off their knowledge to someone else? Like that's the beauty, I think, with Matt. Like, he seems I haven't known him, but he seems like a very obviously approachable guy, and super just passionate with the weirdness of bodybuilding.
Yeah, and most people I know in the space, because I don't know a lot of bodybuilders, most of them are in the STC web, the ones that I know that compete. Even for me, though, like, not competing, I'm like, fuck, just being willing to step on the stage, like, hat tip straight away.
Absolutely.
Like, and it's the same. It's the mountain biking thing at the bottom of the run. You're like, whew,
yeah,
some sketchy today.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree. It's a funny thing. Like, and I'm interested to see how my mentality's changed from 10 years ago, doing exactly the same show. And just see, I don't think I had what I have now. Obviously, got a great relationship with Jason, and he's built me into a bodybuilding just organism. It's all I do, all I think about, all I want to get better at this stage, because the carry-on effect that it's had with my business, I've gotten better. All the things that I've introduced from bodybuilding into business now, like, is improved that.
Yeah.
And as well as just as generally as a man, I feel like I'm more in the level of confidence that I've never had before.
Yeah, it's awesome. My next question was going to be, do you think it positively affects relationships and stuff as well?
I think it's
if you feel more comfortable as yeah.
I think it depends. Yeah, it's a hard question to answer. I think, again, it's an environmental thing. Like, I'm close friends with you and Jason, and you guys, all take training very seriously, but then you know how not to.
Yeah.
So if you're just in a bubble of too much of it, I think there's going to be a breaking point there that potentially it blows off into a relationship or whatever else. But me and Liana have got things in place that allow us to go, okay, well, we're full on in the gym, and then we've got these steps in day-to-day life. Like, Sundays I'll do fucking whatever it is day. Like, we just go, I want to go check out that new Egypt thing in the museum. Just like something that's not related to it. And I think that is the way that you balance it out, even though balance is, I think, a lie. Yeah. It's a psyop from the government to make you work hard.
Yeah. I know, like, I don't want to speak for Jace at all, but I know for me, having a partner who's on the fringe of the industry, when I say fringe, like, goes to the gym, is super involved, has been always with the business, but doesn't live and breathe it. It's not like what she wakes up excited about in the morning.
Yep. So
I think that is useful. So it's like, there's a powerlifting comp on this weekend. She's not going to go.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll do something else. So I think it that puts a little bit of a barrier, especially when I was competing. Yep. Put a bit of a barrier to be like, hey, you're actually, like, let's go overseas, and you don't have to find a gym in every single fucking town you go to.
Yeah, and, I guess we're very similar in the sense that we'll find stuff that we're interested in and go, cool, I'm this now forever.
This is my entire personality.
Having Liana tell me, that, not to say that it's not, but also just, push me into doing other stuff, because ultimately I just live on YouTube and just watch bodybuilders all day if I had my own thing, and that's where I think Ruffles comes in as well. Like, he's a great distraction from it. But yeah, it's a funny thing because I really do want to go and see how far I can sort of push it with this, but also at the same time I don't want it to be what happened last time where I don't train afterwards and I'm like, what do I do? What happens now? And that's my greatest fear. I know that it won't happen because obviously Jason won't let it happen either. But ultimately, I'm really fucking enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it, and it's rough for me to say. I'm like, this is the happiest I've ever been, and it's also the most amount of struggle I've had, which is really weird. So it's like biggest amount of push in business that's scaring the absolute fuck out of me. And then as well as, writing down some of the goals that I want to do terrifies me. But it's like, okay, well, there's something to that. It's like I don't feel comfortable, but I feel really happy.
Yeah.
And that's what it's given me.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Just my challenge as a 5-month-old instead of bodybuilding.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's
but yeah, like business, family, and then like still choosing. Again, it's all the hardest part. I think is when you start to get to this stage. It's like don't complain about the thing that you asked for.
Nah,
like that's the
just complaining in general.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this diet's kicking my ass. Stop the diet.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Well,
yeah.
Which
is it then?
What do you want?
Yeah,
you want just like throwing the reel out, like please, just give me something.
Yeah.
It's like just shut the fuck up about it and like, okay, it's hard. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a choice.
Yeah.
And the choice of the hard is the good thing, and that's what gives the rewards. So you've got to obviously stay present with that. And there's times where you won't, but that's the goal, right? There's
a great quote about that. I'll get it up on my phone. It's all about the sort of being lost in the struggle. This is from Dr. Marcus Elliott, which is the NBA's top exercise scientist. Engaging in a challenging environment where there's a high probability of failure, even if you execute perfectly, has huge ramifications for helping you lose a fear of failing, and discovering your true potential.
Yeah, that's sick.
I read that and I was like, goosebumps.
The playing in an arena where even if you're perfect, you can fail.
Yeah, especially
that's
for
sick.
you as well. Like I think it's
sick.
Maybe bringing up a little human being.
Yeah.
Who knows how to do that?
Not me yet.
No one.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's interesting coming back to like the not training after competing thing. I actually had this conversation with a client yesterday, like learning to enjoy training and training giving you the thing, whatever that is that you're going to get from training, and it's different for everybody. We talk about values and all that kind of stuff, but whatever it is you're getting on a daily basis out of going to the gym, whether it's structure, it's control, it's winning, it's doing, that's the hardest part of your day and everything else feels easier, or it's just like feeling of progress, the reward of feeling accomplished or competent, or being able to rely on yourself and trust yourself, or whatever it is that every day you get out of just doing the session, that has to be number one. And then it's really fun to layer on top of that some tangibles.
I agree.
And I think if you go the other way, you're fucked.
Yep, and that's what happened to me. I'm going to say, I reckon. I think I was training for long enough. It was like 5-something years before I was like, let's, it was 2 other mates that we all went in initially together, and then it was really only me and I think, my one other mate that did it. And I just, I think I just hadn't had, I guess, a better relationship with the coach I had at the time for him to put in those stops of like, okay, are you actually enjoying this right now? Like, are you just suffering along just for the sake of like, I'm a bodybuilder and it has to fucking suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree. And, I've got some people who on the team who want to compete and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, you need to really fucking enjoy this first, because you're going to get into the gym and it's literally going to be a break between each meal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be anything that you're like, oh, fuck, I feel like I'm actually working towards goals and all this sort of stuff. Of course, you push yourself, but ultimately at the very end of it, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours to not think about eating. So it's like, you better be sure that you enjoy the space, and you know, and no matter where you're training, you enjoy it as well. It's like not just a specific gym and whatever else. You know, you just have to have the passion for for training before even thinking about anything.